Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
70,000 people are here, and Bob Dylan is the reason for it.
Inspired by their true story.
If anyone is gonna hold your attention on a stage, you have to kind of be a freak.
Are you a freak?
Hope so.
And starring Timothée Chalamet as Bob Dylan. He defied everyone
Turn it down!
Play loud!
to change everything.
Make some noise, BD.
Timothée Chalamet, Edward Norton, Elle Fanning, Monica Barbaro. A complete unknown. Only in theaters Christmas Day. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent.
Let's hang out. And let's talk about what lesbians are about. Let's hang out. And let's listen to two lesbians shout. Let's hang out. Let's hang out.
Hey everyone, welcome back finally to season 8 of Let's Hang Out, the podcast where just something that we want to try, 'cause you and I were cool for the summer.
Wow.
You need to add like a sick
Cool
drop
for the
beat to
summer.
like,
Yeah.
there you go.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, just like that.
Crazy how
Everyone's so impressed by my wild
yes.
beatboxing skills.
Crazy how far we've come since Cool for the Summer. We're gonna
Yeah, what a
We're
change.
gonna dive
what a
in.
change.
Yeah.
From the West Coast with sick beatboxing skills, I'm Leigh Foster.
And from the East Coast, I'm Ellie Brigida. To those of you who have been with us through this whole journey, thank you as always for listening. If you're a new listener, welcome. We're excited to have you here. Here's what's happening this week. This week in the Lesdom. This week in the Lesdom is a place where we can touch base each episode about things going on with the podcast or otherwise. And this season, we are going to be doing a little bit of a change to our Patreon bonus episodes. We're still doing them, but they're going to be a little more spaced out. So our first one will be out on October 7th. And just a reminder for those of you who either are not caught up or are not part of our Patreon, we do have 22 Patreon bonus episodes up on Patreon. So if you're a new patron, you have plenty of content still, and we'll be releasing them once every few months from now on.
Also, speaking of Patreon, we wanted to put this at the top so that people are aware of it. Some of you might know if you already support people on Patreon, or if you have a Patreon yourself. Any creators probably know that there are going to be some changes coming specifically because of how the Apple App Store requires certain apps to do all of their payments through Apple. And that's going to mean there might be some changes to how some of the models are allowed to be processed. I think there are certain billing models and subscription models that will no longer be available. And you might also see some of the prices change slightly if you're buying through the Patreon app. So if you have any creators that you are supporting on Patreon, whether it's us or other people, our first recommendation would be to actually sign up on the website. Patreon website is going to make things a lot easier, and make sure that you don't get hit with any additional fees from the Apple App Store. But if not, just keep an eye on things. Make sure that you're sort of aware of the changes and where they're coming from and what Apple is doing to everyone. And also remember to support all your creators, whether it's us or other people you love, because Patreon is, super helpful and important for all of them. So just some notes, keep an eye out.
We're also thinking about this year, happy season 8, planning another trip, and we're going to be doing it on our own, separately from Trova Trip. Anyone who was on the trip with us knows that there were some certain issues with the Trova Trip platform itself that we're trying to circumvent. So we're going to be doing our best to plan the trip ourselves, take out the middleman. So we're going to be thinking about that this year. If you have any suggestions, let us know places you would really like to go. I know Leigh and I have a few ideas of things that would either be that are the correct intersection of easy to plan and also fun and exciting for all of you. But we'd love to hear your feedback as well before we start planning.
In the greater Les universe, as some of you may or may not know about me, I unironically love watching the Olympics. I have watched so much Olympics over the last few weeks, like so much, like to the point where I'm like, I still have things. The Olympics never stop in this house. I have events DVR'd
Wow.
that I'm like, I'm still going. Like, I can only watch an hour every night, so like you gotta really push your way through stuff. But like, listen, I love it. And I love nothing more about the Olympics this year than how many queer athletes, first of all, were just at the Olympics in general, and also how many of them won medals. So I think there were 55 LGBTQ plus women athletes who won medals at these Olympics, which is like,
Because that makes sense. Also, you know what was so funny to me? So there, people just like post all kinds of memes and shit, whatever. There was this one meme that was like the Olympic Village right now, and it was the L word cover with all the naked women,
yes,
and I was
yes,
dying. Like it's just like an L word orgy at the Olympic Village. So
I love that.
lucky people who are at the Olympics right now. So also speaking of lucky people, I was one of the lucky people to see Chappell Roan live at Lollapalooza, which was groundbreaking for queer artists because Chappell, I think, had the largest main stage crowd ever
Yeah.
at Lollapalooza. Like literally insane.
Yeah.
I think some of the like numbers I've seen floating around are there were 110,000 people at her daytime main stage performance. And like
Wild.
usually main stage performers at night is super packed, but especially during the day, it's like unheard of the crowds that she's getting. And I was there.
I've seen, like, even just seeing those aerial shots of the crowd is wild. And somewhere in that crowd, Ellie,
was me.
Was you.
I know. And it was epic. I mean, just like being in that space with all of these people who also love Chappell and are just screaming. It was so good.
Incredible.
It was so good.
I know you wrote the line for this next one. Am I just supposed to talk about Billie Eilish and
Just
lying on a pile of bras?
I mean, did you see the movie? Did you see it?
I haven't watched the music video,
Yeah.
right? This is the music video. I feel like I've seen the clips of the piles of bras, but I don't know if I've watched the whole music video.
I just wanted to talk about Guess, the new song by Charli XCX and Billie Eilish, and just how gay it is.
Yeah, and Billie Eilish really bringing it these days. Just,
I mean, the fact that they're literally just like
Yeah.
rolling down a pile of bras and underwear is so funny to me. Like, what
I
a
feel like-
concept.
I feel like Billie Eilish, I feel like the intensity with which Billie Eilish went from like, I was outed to like, I'm gonna be the gayest motherfucker you ever did see. I'm gonna hit on every woman who interviews me so hard. It's gonna make your head spin. I'm gonna lie on a pile of bras so big the earth can't even hold it. Like, it's just,
It's the right choice.
it's crazy. There do not exist enough basketball jerseys in the world to clothe Billie Eilish anymore. It is.
Oh god.
It's wild.
It's
I
so
love it.
true. It's so good. So we're here for it. It is the year of queer pop stars and we're living for it. That's
Great,
what's happening
great,
this
great.
week. Back to you, Ellie and Leigh.
Thanks, Ellie and Leigh. We are so excited to be back in our 8th season. 8th season, Ellie.
I know. The longest relationship in my life, Leigh.
We've been doing this a while, huh?
Besides my mother.
Well, sure. Yeah, like you have family, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
But besides that, yeah.
Episode 1 of season 8 of our little podcast that
We're
could.
out here still chugging along, moving that train. All for you.
Our little gay train. This episode is called Sapphic Summer, as it should be.
We are in a gay girl renaissance, Leigh.
It really feels like it, doesn't it? Like, it's
is
wild right now.
Pretty incredible.
It's wild and gay out there.
Mhm.
And so listen, you all know, well, many of you probably know if you've been listening to the show for a while. We like to kick off our seasons with kind of like a little
Recap.
little
you know,
roundup,
let's
little recap.
Where are we? Where have we been?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Let's get back into it. What's gay? What's not? Where are the queers? What are we up to? And yeah, it really does feel like we're kind of in this magical summertime that's
Mhm.
like for the girls and the gays and no one else, right? Like,
For sure. And
Yeah.
also, like, as much as I'm like, ugh, straights, but like the straights are hopping on board and I'm here for it.
they kind of are. And we would just like to talk about all the things that they're hopping on board with and what's going on and what do they not even know about yet and like what do we got going on?
Exactly.
You know?
But let's talk about, I mean, the big thing I think is music, right? And like
Yeah.
queer women in music are fucking eating it up. The fact that, okay, let's just should we just start with the biggest one of all, like Chappell freaking Roan?
Well, hold on. Wait. Before we even get into the specifics, I wanna read you this tweet because I just thought this was like such a perfect encapsulation of what's going on. Where someone tweeted this week and they were like, for the first time in history, 3 queer artists are charting in the top 5 of the Billboard 200 at the same time. So there's Chappell Roan, Billie Eilish, and Megan Thee Stallion. Just there's
Amazing.
like a domination that is happening from the queer artists right now, and that's not even getting into that's not even getting into the like Reneé Rapp of it all, and like just a bunch of other queer artists who are like having a whole time of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I think if we're gonna dive in on the music, Chappell Roan is a great place to start.
Chappell Roan is just hitting so hard right now, but that's the thing. Okay,
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying this. Straights are hopping onto this too. Like obviously, like Leigh and I, right? I guess. Okay, Leigh, what is your experience with Chappell? What has your experience been?
Can I tell you?
I'm curious.
Can I tell you the funniest thing? Listen, I am not usually one who's like ahead of trends. And
You're so cool right now, right, Leigh?
I'm so cool right now. It's not only that, because I actually don't feel cool at all, and can I tell you why? Because the reason that we got into Chappell Roan is because like the girls are getting a little bit older, right? Like, and they're sort of getting to a point where we were like, okay, we can start trying to like transition their playlist away from like the wheels on the bus era of our lives,
Yeah.
into like stuff that like Kelsey and I would enjoy listening to as well, like kind of get a little mix going on there, right? And so I had started playing for them like just a Spotify playlist, like random playlist. It was called Hot Pink, and because it just had a lot of like, you know, upbeat songs, like fun, you know, kind of like girly pop stuff, and I was like, great, maybe they'll be into some of this. And what's so funny is literally the person in our household who latched on to Chappell Roan from the very get-go was Eloise. Like, Pink Pony Club started playing for the first time, and I was listening to it, right? And it starts out with that very, like, slow
Piano.
intro.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, oh, I don't know if the girls are going to be into this. And so, because, you know, it was like we'd sort of been bopping out in the car. And so it, like, started, I went to skip it to, like, play the next song to be like, oh, well, like, keep the vibes hopping, right?
Yeah.
And Eloise was like, no, go back, mommy. She was like, go back and play that song. And so we made it past the intro, and I was like, oh, actually, this is 100% a bop. I like immediately added it on their playlist because I was like, it's about stripping, but like whatever.
Yeah,
they don't
it's
know
fine.
that, right? But like she was just totally into it, like so into it, and both of them were. And so it just became this thing where I was like, oh my god, they love this song. You know, obviously, like when we went to Croatia, like Taylor and I were
bopping.
having our little Chappell Roan bop fest to it. Like we were having a great time. Can I tell you, I literally, like, I went in to show Kelsey last night because I saw a shirt, like, I don't remember, like, on a tweet or on a TikTok or on a something, and someone had made this, like, Pink Pony Club shirt design.
Yeah.
And I was like, would you believe it doesn't come in a kid size?
Oh my god.
I'm like, the girls would love this. It's great. Why isn't there one? So yeah, so listen, I can't even claim credit. I can't take credit for this. Like my children
Eloise is way ahead of the curve.
Knew before I knew that they were like, this is the Chappell Roan. She is the future. She is gonna take us all to a magical place. And I still, like, the girls will like break into like Hot to Go.
That's so funny.
Like they are fully into it. Like they're fully invested. So that's my experience with Chappell. I feel like I, like, you know, I beat the straight people to it.
So you're doing good.
I'll take it. I'll take the credit, you know?
For me, Red Wine Supernova kept coming up on my Spotify. Like it was like, you know, when it would just be like recommended songs for you. So I knew Red Wine Supernova pretty well and like vibed. And then of course, like with the femmes, it was like, we have to do Chappell Roan because she's gay and like upbeat pop. So like we started to cover Chappell.
Yeah.
And we did Red Wine Supernova. And since we started covering, like, it's been so fast the way that she's become like excessively popular. Like obviously, like as a musician myself, like if I was at the level of like 3 years ago Chappell Roan fame, I'd be happy. like it's not like she like came out of nowhere. People
Yeah.
knew who she was. She had fans. Like
No,
I
but
think
it exploded lately.
It has been insane.
Yeah.
And so for our next show, which is actually coming up in a few days, we usually don't cover, like, we usually try to spread the set list out, like one artist. We're doing 3 Chappell Roan songs. Because like we have to. But like that's the thing, like they're the songs. Like we were already
they're the songs of the summer.
Like we were already doing Red Wine Supernova, and then we added Hot to Go because everyone's doing the dance. And then we also were like, but we also want to do Pink Pony Club. So we're like, fuck it. We're doing all 3.
Yeah. Here's the thing. We have come such a long way from like the song of the summer being like Katy Perry, I Kissed a Girl.
Exactly.
Right? To where you're like, okay, it's kind of pandery, it's kind of male gazy, it's kind of like I guess it's kind of gay, so we'll take it.
Yeah.
But like it feels like it belongs to the straights, really.
Well, that's the thing. Like that is like a experimenting straight girl song, right?
Yes.
And then Chappell Roan writes a song talking to from the queer perspective.
Yeah.
Being like, good luck, babe. You're never gonna get over me. I'm a hot queer woman. And like, sorry, or like, you can't figure your shit out. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like so different. It's so different.
And you know what's funny is like, I have seen so many like TikToks and things lately of straight people not like discovering, but like, having like heard all this buzz, whatever, and they're listening to Chappell Roan and they're listening to like Good Luck Babe, and they're looking up the lyrics, right? Like I'm watching like straight men.
Yeah.
Like straight men with their podcasts, like listening to this song and then like looking it up and like doing the dive to be like, what is this song about? And then they're like, oh, it's about that. And then they're like going back to the lyrics and they're like, oh, wow. Like that actually hits real hard. And you're like, yeah, it fucking does.
It really does.
But it's like, it's not, it's not like it's not as on the nose as like Born This Way or I Guess, right? Like it's not like in your face with it. But obviously like every queer person who listens to it is just like an immediate like fucking gut punch,
Yeah.
And then you're watching like straight people sort of like interact with the lyrics of it and realizing, right? And like, and you combine that with just the like, I mean, her voice in a general. I mean, it's just like it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's so crazy.
It's
and like
crazy.
we've talked about Chappell a bunch in this week in the Lesdom because like we just have to. Like she's so everywhere right now. But like Reneé Rapp was having this moment also, and like we've had so many queer artists who are having these moments.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't feel isolated. Like it feels like a movement. And that's what feels super cool about it. It's not just like this one artist is talented. It's like queer people. And to be fair, Chappell is insanely talented. But like queer people as a whole are more talented than you, sorry straights, and are rising up to show
We're better and hotter and prettier.
Yeah.
And just all around more talented.
And like straight people are still relating to music that is queer. It's like the way that we're like representation matters, but it is like you have straight people who are like, oh, I can understand this concept and relate to it even as it's written by this queer person.
Yeah.
And they fucking vibe and they love it. And that is so cool.
It's not just that, it's that I feel like there's something that's cool about them doing it and being so vocal about their queerness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I feel like what we've had for a long time is this way in which people would come out after. Like, while people were sort of like on that climb, there was this very strong sense of like, if you want to ride that wave, you have to keep it under wraps, right? Like, you have to shove that down and hide it, because if anyone finds out, like, your star's gonna fizzle out and no one, right? Like, you're gonna just put a ceiling right on your own success. And what I think for me at least, and I don't know if you feel this way as well, just from like the years of watching this happen and like going back like 10, 15 years, to me, the biggest difference is that it's like you're seeing people do it, and you're watching Reneé Rapp have the climb that she had during the whole Mean Girls lead up and everything, and being like out vocal, like just living
Very
into their
actively
queerness, like
fucking gay.
yeah, like very obviously, and like making zero efforts to hide it. If anything, like being pretty upfront about being like,
Yes.
let's not misunderstand like what's happening here, you know. And I'm like, that shift is so different to me. Like to watch people be like, I can be gay and have this success and have my moment, and my moment is actually enhanced by getting to do it as my like authentic
Gay ass self.
and by getting to do it in a way where like they're acknowledging the sense of like, yeah, like we didn't have, like I would never have seen me when I was growing up, you know. And like now I get to be that for other gay people, and you're just like, fuck yeah, man. Like, fuck yeah. Like, I know we talked a little bit about the Billie Eilish lunch situation, but like, yeah, I just feel like the reaction to saying like, hey, I was like outed in a way and at a time in which I was like not comfortable with this. This was not my choice, and my response to that is not to like go
shy away from it,
hide my head in shame,
to literally
and,
be like, let me tell you how good I am at eating women out. Like, bye.
Like, I'm like, that is a response that like would never have happened circa, you know, Katy Perry I Kissed a Girl era of our lives.
Yes.
Like that would not, and I do think that it's like, it is like, again, it's great for the youth of today to like live in a world where that's going to be their norm, but I'm like, but it is hard to like express the shift to them when I'm like, I don't think you understand. Like, people would not have done this, and like if they had, it would not have gone well.
I do feel like, okay, yes, and I also do want to acknowledge maybe some of the people that you're sort of talking about, like Miley, but also Miley was so young when she came up that like I feel like when she did come out, she was like, I'm gay, bitches. And then she also like, Miley's...
But it's not even just Miley. I'm thinking
Gaga,
like you go further and further back. Yeah, like the yeah,
but like Lady Gaga
I'm for sure Lady Gaga did not know that she was not straight.
Yeah, she knew she was not straight when she first started doing all of her shit.
Like,
but you're right. She didn't come out until, I don't know when she came out, but...
I mean, I feel like it's been sort of like the open secret with Lady Gaga for a while. Like, I don't know that she ever came out and like made a statement, especially, did she?
In 2009, she came out as bisexual.
That's actually earlier than I would have guessed.
And her first album came out in 2008.
Yeah, that's earlier than I would have guessed.
So I do feel like I want to give Gaga her props, but I do agree
honestly,
that it was difficult for her to...
100% correct.
Yeah, it was difficult for her to do, but I think she was... Gaga has been pretty unapologetically gay since she came out.
And I think Lady Gaga, you know what's funny to me? Chappell Roan feels like such a Lady Gaga for this generation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Is like, have you seen any clips of like, she went on Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah,
have you seen any clips of her on that? And she's like clapping her little nails together, and she is like just making all of these like drag queen references, like all, you know, she's like crediting the drag queens that are inspiring her and like who she's taking some of her like quotes and things and like, you know, all sorts of stuff from, and like, and her just the outfit, the hair, the way that she like handles herself in interviews, it reminds me of like the Lady Gaga heyday.
Yeah,
you know, of just being like, I'm kind of kooky and weird, and like that's fine.
Yeah,
that's my thing, and it works for me. And like, I'm not here to be palatable to you. I'm here to live the life that I want to live. You know, and I'm just like, honestly, like I fucking love that so much. Especially when it's the gays, and it's like it almost doesn't surprise me as much that Lady Gaga did come out that early. Like, I still think at that time I'm surprised that it was that early on after
but
her
also
first
like
album
Lady
did well.
Gaga was for the gays.
But
like
yes,
from the second she came out, she was for the gays. Yeah.
And I don't think she cared all the time to like be the popular, like, you know, for the popular masses, like whatever. Like, But I'm
love her.
I'm thinking back to like, I mean, even if you go all the way back to like the Queen Latifahs, the Jodie Fosters, like just all of these people who like very clearly had to like hide in the closet
Oh,
to
for
have
sure.
the careers that they wanted to have and stuff. And I just like it's
Whitney
it's
frickin'
so
Houston, everyone.
it's so
Don't
great.
forget.
It's so great to get to see now all of these like young queer icons who are just like here, out, proud,
So
like
intensely. I love it.
successful.
I am obsessed with it.
And like not shying away from also like the fact that like pop music does tend to like have its suggestive, racy, sexy songs, and like that they're not being like, oh, but I can't write those because I'm gay, and then people wouldn't relate to them. Like,
Yeah, I'm writing this song all about
Right.
having sex with women.
there's
having
a lot
this
of them out there,
woman
and like they're all
bite
great.
me in the neck,
Yes.
eat me out in the oh my god, Casual. The funniest thing about Casual, okay, what is it? Knee deep in the passenger seat and you're eating me out, right? Is that the
Yeah.
lyric? I have seen, and I maybe don't want to assume, but I'm like, I've seen some straight girls really digging into that song too, and I'm like, interesting. But to be fair,
Yeah.
you could still say that as a straight person. That song is clearly gay, but also, but what
Yeah.
man? What man is gonna eat you out in the passenger seat, ladies? They aren't. But I love it. But yes, they're quite explicit and in a great way.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not shying away. I would like to say, okay, just like in music in general, I also find this to be a very exciting time because women in music have been severely underrepresented. Like, just like always.
Yeah.
Even though, like, women in music, when you think about the best music in the world, I always think about women. But they're still underrepresented in like festival lineups, in like not necessarily Billboard Top 100, but like just like opportunities they're given to like white men with a rock band
Yeah.
historically, right? Even still, like there's this Instagram account called Book More Women. Have you heard of it?
No.
You should follow it. It basically shows every single festival lineup and it takes out all the men and shows only the women and does the percentage of women on the festival lineups. And it is abysmal. Most of them are under 20%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And some of them are like real low, like 5 or 10%.
It's like a Bechdel cast, or it's like a Bechdel test for like festival lineups.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then too, like severely underrepresented as musicians, right? Obviously, like the front women, like there's like Chappell Roan is at the right, like, but like in 50 years ago, she would have had an all male band, and she is really doing the Lord's fucking work. Olivia Rodrigo,
Yeah.
like all of these like female artists are being so intentional about having women and non-binary artists behind them, and that is even more cool to me.
Yeah. That's
Like every
cool.
time you see Chappell Roan, she's surrounded by women.
As
like
she should be.
she should be. But in terms of festivals,
She deserves it.
in terms of festivals, I want to talk about there is one festival. It's called All Things Go. Have you heard of it?
No.
Okay, so All Things
Teach
Go.
me all of this, female music.
Yeah,
news,
I clearly
Ellie. I'm
have
loving it.
I have a very personal stake in all of this. But there's a festival called All Things Go that's in DC every year, and it is run by men. Okay, however, one year Maggie Rogers was one of the headliners, and she was talking to the organizers, and she was like, it's fucked up that these festivals do not feature women. Like, I'm one of very few women who is featured here, and that's not okay. And the festival organizer said, okay, let's work together. If you bring me your ideal lineup, I'll try to book them.
Nice.
So Maggie Rogers now like gives her like intensely female heavy lineup, right, to this organizer who puts together this event. So every year it's basically like gay heaven, right? Like
Yeah.
last year, Muna, Boy Genius, Maggie Rogers is probably like always there. It's just like always very, very gay and female forward. And it sold out so fast this year.
Go figure.
And I also just love this because I'm like, all right, look at this. Do you think that this festival is selling out better than other festivals because they're prioritizing women? Not like, oh, well, if we prioritize women, like people won't come. Like, what if we don't get the Foo
Yeah.
Fighters? Like, who's gonna come? And it's like everyone, like that they had to make another day. So they literally put together a show in New York where all of their headliners, so like Janelle Monáe's at it this year too, Chappell, Reneé Rapp, anyone you would ever want to see. Now all these headliners, so like if they're playing on Friday, then they're playing on Saturday in New York. And that Saturday in New York, the pre-sale sold out so fast. But here's the negatives to all of this.
Okay, sure. Let me fly high and then bring me crashing down.
So happy that the straights are getting into all these gay things and realizing that queer women want to, like, are ravenous. So basically, straight people and bots bought up all the tickets to All Things Go.
No. And then are like scalping them.
And they're scalping them for like twice the price to all of these
I fucking hate it.
desperate queer women who are like, we never get this. And now I have to pay triple to see the lineup that is the dream.
I hate that so much.
It's pretty fucked up.
As per usual, capitalism is the fucking worst.
Mm-hmm. So it's also like now Chappell Roan. It's like as much as it's like, yay, she's successful. The more successful she gets, the more inaccessible she will be to her actual audience.
Gross. I hate that.
Which is so fucked up. So that's just a little.
On that depressing note, let's take a quick break and we'll come back with better news, okay? This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. And as we head into Thanksgiving time, I want to start by thanking my wife, Kelsey, who has not only listened to just about every episode of this podcast for 8 seasons now, but who also is the only reason I'm able to make time to record it every week. She takes the kids, gets them dinner, and gets them ready for bed, just so that Ellie and I can come on and yell about gay things into each other's faces for an hour. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people you're grateful for in your life, including yourself. I've been in therapy for a long time now, and one thing that's so important about therapy is how it teaches you to be more intentional. And being intentional about gratitude and how to show that to the people you appreciate is just one of the many benefits that I've gotten from therapy over the years. If you've been thinking of starting therapy, consider giving BetterHelp a try. I know how hard it can be to find time for regular therapy, and BetterHelp is designed to be flexible and convenient for your schedule. You can fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you want to start being more intentional about gratitude in your life, visit betterhelp.com/letshangout today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/letshangout.
Let's hang out.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help you find options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, and when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Okay, I wanna pivot us back to like happy shit because it's Sapphic Summer, Ellie. It's not Sapphic Bummer. Okay, so we're gonna.
I'm sorry, I just really had
this.
to talk about it. I have feelings.
Well, you know what I do love though is like one of the things when you were saying that about the festival, just about like how popular it is, right? And like how quickly it's selling out and like how much people want to go and stuff. I feel like it's also reminiscent of another place where I feel like the gays are like dominating in a way where they're like highlighting this immense void in the cultural zeitgeist of our moment that like appeals to both the queers and straights and everyone. And that would be women's sports.
True.
Where like I just feel like the way in which the world has rallied around like National Women's Soccer and WNBA, it just like really I think highlights again what you're saying, which is like this demand for women in things.
Yep.
But I think as we are seeing with the music and as I would say we are seeing with the sports is like most of the icons in that field, they be gay.
They be freaking gay.
They
honestly,
be
unfortunately, a lot of them in
gay.
WNBA are not gay enough, but for the most part,
It's very gay though.
Yeah.
It is a gay space. I'm
It
not
is
gonna
quite-
say like everyone is gay, and I would say overall I think soccer trends a little gayer, but it's not like the WNBA is the straightest
No,
space
they're not
you've ever
straight.
seen.
They're
like
not straight.
there's a lot of gay in there. So I just feel like it is a similar thing that like I mean again, I know neither you or I are like huge sports gays into the whole
Yeah, sorry, gays. I don't know. I don't really know a lot. I know that Caitlin Clark is on the Indiana team because my mom loves Caitlin Clark. That's about it.
You know that Caitlin Clark did like graduate from college, right? Like,
Yes, I know that she's
Okay.
in the WNBA now.
Okay, great. Good. I feel like if I had more time in my life, I would be like a heavy sports gay. Sadly, I don't.
Kaylee.
I just don't. But it does make me happy that I'm like, listen, like at a certain point, like we will want to like sit down with the girls and like watch some sports games or whatever. And I'm like, the amount of like negative desire that I have to ever watch like a men's NBA game cannot be expressed strongly enough. And I'm just like, I'm like, it makes me happy that like the girls will get to grow up in a world where it's like, hey, you could actually like find on television
TV
to
a game to watch. Yeah.
a game with women playing a sport, like what are the odds? What a
So
concept.
crazy, honestly. Can't
Which,
even believe it.
Which think about it, like we are not like we didn't grow up in the Middle Ages, I'm like it should not be a thing where I have to be like, oh wow, you could like actually find this on television, because you couldn't for most of like our lives. It's like you could maybe watch like the Women's World Cup sometimes, but like regular games, like the leagues half the time like barely existed, and like they certainly weren't getting televised. You
Well,
know?
and there's
like,
a new women's hockey league as well.
yeah.
It's coming up.
Listen, if you're like more of a sports gay and you want to do like a deep dive into all the women's sports with us, like,
Help us.
hit us up.
But
we're
let's
so
talk-
down to
yeah.
do it. This is not. We're like, let's talk about musicians for like 3 hours, and then like
And
also
then gays
sports
for like
exist.
5 minutes. They exist somewhere. Yeah, sports.
Also,
sports.
some people have soccer balls, but
Amazing.
it's not that we're not into it. I'm so into it. I just don't.
We're
I
into
don't
it.
have
We're
the
just
time.
not into it, and that's okay. Okay, but let's talk about all of the people who have been coming out this year, because I feel like that's also a big thing.
Oh my god,
We have like
it's
an
been wild
excessively
this
long
year.
list. Like, I don't know if we want to just like read it, but there's a lot. Julia Fox,
Well-
Reneé Rapp, Sophia Bush, Taylor Tomlinson, Meryl Streep's daughter, Stacey London, Chappell Roan, Aisha Madden, Amber Ruffin, and Maren Morris. That's as much as I have right now. And I would like to say some of these coming outs that I'd like to talk about are specifically, we are a lesbian podcast. Do you know that we're lesbians, Leigh?
I had heard a rumor. Yes.
Wait, also, I'd like to say something about lesbians and one of my friends.
Okay.
So, I have
Are
a
you
fri-
friends with lesbians?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
a friend who like
Love that for you.
loves being a lesbian, and I also love being a lesbian, right? So we bond over that fact, over, our shared disgust with men, let's say.
Sure.
know?
Sure. Disinterest.
Disinterest. Sorry, man. She texted me the other day, and she's like, Ellie, I had a nightmare. And I was like, and she's like, it was about you. And I was like, okay. You could maybe guess where this is going. She was like, you came to me and you were super like serious, and you sat me down and you were like, I'm not a lesbian anymore. And she's like, and I literally woke up in a sweat being like, my lesbian friend Ellie is not a lesbian anymore. What do I do? And she woke up her wife, and her wife texted me to be like, what the fuck? Why is my wife waking me in the middle of the night because she's scared you're not a lesbian anymore? And I just think
Wow.
that's so funny. So sorry, just to give a little.
Even in a dream reality, I don't think I could ever see you as not a
No.
lesbian, Ellie.
No,
No.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'll never say never. Sexuality is fluid. If I fall in love with someone, I don't know. I don't want to like. But I'm a lesbian, everyone. Big old les.
Here's the thing. Is like I feel like, I mean, again, this doesn't need to be an episode where we get into like the deep semantics of words and everything, but I feel like lesbian can cover a lot of things.
Yes, I agree.
I don't think either you or I are like insane people when it comes to like who gets to call themselves a lesbian.
Yeah,
or
whoever wants
not.
to call themselves lesbians is fine.
I feel like your queerness is such an innate part of you to me
Yes.
that it's like it's
I just don't feel like, I could not be in a heteronormative relationship. Like, that
No.
would be,
doesn't
would
work.
probably
it just
die.
doesn't fit.
I would
It's
actually
like
die.
trying to just take like the square peg and like you can't
Mhm.
hammer hard enough to get it in that round. Like it just doesn't
No.
fit. It just doesn't go.
No, it will not fit.
How did we get here from people are
Okay,
coming out? What
okay,
happened?
because I want to lead us into
Okay.
what I have been loving about some of these coming outs
Yes.
is that particularly Chappell Roan and Reneé Rapp are both very much embracing, like, they were out, they were queer, and they came out this particular year
Mm.
saying very strongly that they identify as lesbians, and they
Yeah.
were very intentional about that.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the word, and there was this other, like, there was a scene in I Kissed a Girl, the reality TV show that was on, that like really hit me, where all these women were talking about like how really owning the word lesbian was so emotional to them, because like lesbian has been a dirty word,
Yeah.
right? Like, people feel more comfortable, I think, saying like they're queer, or they're under this like more open umbrella.
I'm
and
gay.
I'm
Yeah.
gay or whatever, because lesbian has had such like a negative connotation, that as a person who also identifies as a lesbian, it feels affirming to have people who are in this spotlight say
Yeah.
like, I'm claiming this word, and it feels good to claim. It's not like something I'm trying to like hide or brush under the rug.
Yeah.
you know?
I agree. And again, I do like I don't think you or I are ever people who are like we're not militant about like I don't know. I think it's hard for me sometimes because I feel like the people who get the most vocal about the word lesbian
Our
tend to
turfs.
be well,
Is
like
that what you mean?
turfs or like it's like heavy biphobia. Like just there's a lot of like gross people who feel very strongly about the word, and I'm like, I love being a lesbian, and I also love seeing people come out as lesbian, but also like we don't have to be fucking weird about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And
It's
also,
not like, yeah, like also if they came out tomorrow and were like, I'm bisexual or I'm
Great.
queer or whatever, like great, good for them. I do
Yes.
think there is just a power in
seeing people embrace it,
in
as a
seeing people
term.
embrace
I get
it as like, I think it's also it really is like a fuck you to men.
Yeah. No,
And
it's
I appreciate it.
I feel like that is a huge part of it for you and I especially because it's like
Sorry.
like we talked about this last season
And I
when
yeah,
we
I
had
agree. I don't want to
when
say
we
that
had
in like
Nikita
a trans
on, right? Like,
exclusionary way either.
no,
You know what I mean?
not I wasn't thinking trans exclusionary at all. I was thinking about like when we did the episode with Nikita, right? And who was like, "Hey, I came out and I like came out as a lesbian and then had to like come out as bisexual and like that was really hard." And I'm like, I feel like when you or I like this, it's exciting when people come out as lesbian. It's not because we're like, and now you're locked in. We own you.
Yes.
Like you can't take it back. It's like it's not about that. I think that it is that there's like something inherently that's like again, there like you could say lesbian and it would cover a lot of things for me. And the main thing about it is that it's like you're not interested in like a cis het relationship with a man.
Yes.
And like that is an important part I think of like our identity that we're just like yeah and I feel like the word lesbian has been kind of wrapped up in a lot of gross stuff for a lot of time and you're just like it doesn't have to be that like there are perfectly normal there's a lot of normal lesbians out there who are just lesbians and are excited to like see people claim the label again because I feel like there was like a good chunk of time where people like did not want to be associated with that term.
And for both
that's all.
ways,
It's
for
like,
both ways, for both ways too. Like I said, like you were saying, like I feel like people in the queer community were like, I don't want to be associated with lesbian because I know there's like maybe like an exclusionary sort of
Yeah.
like umbrella that comes across for other queer people,
Yeah.
and you don't want to be that to other queer people.
Yes.
And then on the straight side as well. But I love what Reneé Rapp said. Like she just says like so specifically. She was like, I'm a lesbian, just like stop questioning it. But she also was like, I don't think I like boys. Like that's it.
Yeah.
I don't like boys.
Right.
Therefore,
And like
I am a
that's a
and, like-
perfectly good
and I
use
think-
of that word to describe that. Like
I think it
that's
also
good.
just like takes like I said, it takes the power out of like comp het
yeah.
for me.
It's I feel like one thing that to me sort of like shows all of this is you and I started this podcast years so many years ago, right? All those years ago. How many times over the years have we reached out to queer people to say, "Hey, do you want to come guest on Let's Hang Out?" And we have had people say, "Is it okay that I'm not a lesbian? Like I don't identify as a lesbian or like is it okay?" And I feel like it is hard to not acknowledge the fact that I think the reason so many people are right up front with that is because I think there are a lot of lesbian spaces over the years that are really gatekeepy.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we have had to tell so many people over the, now 7 complete seasons of doing this show that we're like, no, like we're lesbians. And like, that's like, you can identify however you want.
Yeah, we just want to talk about gay shit.
We just want to talk about gay shit, and it happens to be hanging out with 2 giant lesbians. But we have had to have that conversation so many times, and I feel like a big part of it is that there is this like not tiny contingent of the lesbian community that like gets really like kind of aggressive and militant about it. And I'm like, we don't have to be that, because if we stop being that, like I think more people would associate
like
with the word.
lesbians.
And like we fucking love
Would
being
not think we
lesbians.
suck.
And, like
No.
stop ruining it for the
Stop
rest of us.
ruining it for the
is
good
all we're
ones.
saying,
Not
okay?
all
So, like,
lesbians.
we don't all suck. Anyways, no, I totally get it. I get what you're saying though, and like there have
Yeah.
been a lot, and it is like I have to say, I mean, whether it's coming out as lesbian or like queer or bi or like wherever people are coming out, like this year's been wild. What a wild fucking ride it's been, where it's not just like, you've had the kind of like, okay, sure, like, yeah, we've been new. Like, Reneé Rapp comes out as a lesbian, and it's not like totally new information that she's queer, right? But then I feel like we've had like a slew of like really kind of like big and surprising things this year, where you're like, this was like the Sophia Bush year, you know? Like, this was when you have people like, oh, like Mae Martin, and when they like, you know, sort of like hard launched like Pravati Shallow, hard launching that relationship, where you're just like, oh, like, did people know about that?
Yeah.
Like, was that a thing did we know about that? Like, I feel like there's been a number of like pretty wild, like kicking the closet door down sort of coming out moments this year. And it's been great. And it's like, and again, you're seeing people like at like, you know, kind of like top or like climbing portions of their careers. Like, who was it who came out from like House of the Dragon? Like, someone from House of the Dragon came out, and Bethany Antonia came out as she plays Princess. Oh gosh, I don't watch House of the Dragon. Bela.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
came
so
out as
dying.
gay.
Wait
like,
till they find out I'm gay too. That's so funny.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, is like, you're seeing people who are like, hey, I'm having my moment, and like, now is the time actually to like come out. Like, Amber Ruffin just came out at the end of Pride Month. Like, I mean, you're just seeing people kind of take the opportunity to be like, actually, I want to live my life. I want to like live my best gay life. And like, you know, you and I are always here for that. Like, it's just been, there's been a lot.
There's been so many good ones. And then, yeah, we also have, you know, a bunch of movies that came out this season. Love Lies Bleeding, Drive Away Dolls. You haven't seen either of those, right, Leigh?
I haven't seen either of them. I'm the worst.
Oh my God. I'll give like a quick feeling of how I feel. You really need to watch Love Lies Bleeding.
I know that. I know. Is it streaming yet? I was
I think I might have rented it. I can't remember, but
okay, I'll look up if I can rent it finally.
it's a really fucking weird movie. I will say my take on it is a strange movie, but it was very compelling and very gay.
Oh yeah, I can rent it on Prime. I'll watch it. I'm gonna catch up. The thing is like, once the noise of something dies down, it's like, I forget so fast these days, because there's just so much going on, and there's a lot to keep track of.
We need to do an episode on it. It's like, it is important queer cinema.
We should put it up. Should we do like put it on our Los Essentials list for this season?
I think for sure it should be a Los Essentials. Yeah,
I'll definitely watch it then.
Drive Away Dolls was fine.
Yeah,
it was silly, it was cute, it was gay. It wasn't like the best movie I've ever seen in my life, but like, I feel like people sort of panned it, and like, I don't think it deserved to get panned, but I would probably not watch it again. That's my short synopsis of those two things. But super gay, super fun. I feel like
that was the Beanie Feldstein one.
Yeah, and Beanie Feldstein was actually so funny, like she always is. But she was very funny as she's like a jilted ex. She's so funny.
Great.
And so gay. Like, the outfits she wears are so like stereotypically gay. Like, she's in like this button up with like a bolo tie or whatever. She is giving some great performances. I don't know, Leigh. I also feel like I still think we can do better with cinema. I still don't feel like we're at the peak of gay movies. Like, it's like there's not enough.
I feel like media this year, especially, like, I feel like in past years, like, I think you and I have covered so much, like, movie, TV shows, like, you know, we had like a real heyday for a couple years, and it feels like we've really walked that back. Like, everyone knows, obviously, 2024, not a good year for TV for the gays. So many cancellations, so many, like, you know, oh, you get one season of everything these days. Like, it's been rough. I did see Deadlock just got renewed for a second season, which I'm so excited about, because I fucking loved Deadlock. Such a funny show, so gay, and like, again, gay in a way that didn't feel like pandering to the straights, like felt gay in a way that was like relatable for the queers, you know? So that just got renewed for a second season, which is like one of the few things that I've seen in
year
years.
out here for us. It's been a
Yeah,
rough
and
out
it's
year.
not just sapphic representation either. It's like just gay rep in general is plummeting these days, and that is hard for us who are like, you know, primarily a
Talking
queer
about queer
media
media.
focused
Yeah.
show. Like, it's not been great.
I know this is old-ish, but I finally watched The Sex Lives of College Girls.
Oh, I still haven't watched that from like years ago.
And it is
When did
so
that come
good.
out?
Actually, it's not that long ago. It was 2021.
Oh, I thought that was older.
It came out 2021 and 2022. It was renewed for a third. And Reneé Rapp is in it.
Yeah.
And she has like such a good gay storyline. Oh my gosh. It's like so good. So I know that that's like a sort of old, but it's new to me right now. And I'm like, damn. And it is renewed for season 3, but it hasn't come out yet. So like, it's not canceled. However, Reneé Rapp's not supposed to come back. So like, probably the gay storyline's going goodbye. So that's sort of sad.
Yeah.
But speaking of Reneé Rapp, like also there's been a lot of like movie musicals. Mean Girls. Did you see Mean Girls the musical?
I still haven't. I'm sorry. Listen, it's been busy lately. We've just had a lot of shit going on, Ellie, okay?
It's okay. It is gay. I mean, it is gay. Janice is gay.
Yeah.
She is actively a lesbian in this version. Like, great. Her and Damien, gay. Just
I
the
know
fact that it's-
Regina is ostensibly not gay, but I refuse to believe it.
Oh, yeah,
Even without having
she's-
seen it, there's just no way.
Reneé Rapp just gives gay, so it's like hard to not.
Right, exactly. That's my point. I just don't see how she could be convincingly straight to me.
She isn't. What else, Leigh? What else do we have on our Sapphic Summer recap?
I feel like Wicked counts even though it's also not gay, but it feels like it's for the gays, doesn't it?
Okay, but Wicked is like the ultimate shit. We did a good should have been gay on that. It's the ultimate should have been gay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll do. We honestly
We should
could
do a should have
another
been gay
one.
on the musical, on the movie, yeah. Yeah.
We should do another one because why not? Because
Why not?
You know,
I agree.
I don't know. I feel like we've covered a lot of the main things. I think the point is just like it's kind of a dark time for like the TV movie age right now. But I think we've got a lot going for us, and I think there's a lot of just feels like a little gay takeover in some places still, you know?
I know, I'm loving it. The rise of a Midwest princess.
Yeah, I think a Sapphic Summer is correct. I think we're enjoying the
here.
little climb up, and if we could just like make some fucking gay TV shows again, that'd be great.
That'd be great.
That'd be real good. There you go.
All right, Leigh, you ready for our Q and gay?
Q and gay.
All right, question number 1, Leigh. Who is your favorite queer music icon right now? A. Chappell Roan, B. Billie Eilish, C. Reneé Rapp, or D. Megan Thee Stallion?
All having their moments, all great. But like I gotta give it up for Chappell Roan right now. She's
killing.
She's killing. She really is.
She really
and it's
is.
like, I mean, it's not even like I think she's more talented than the rest or whatever. There's just like, I think her style, her vibe right now is just like, that's what I'm feeling the most. So
Love it.
No shade to the rest. Question 2, Ellie, which coming out blew your mind this year? A. Amber Ruffin, B. Parvati Shallow, C. Maren Morris, or D. Sophia Bush?
It's D. Sophia Bush for me because I've been waiting for that since I was watching One Tree Hill as a child.
It really
So,
healed something in all of us.
Yeah,
you
that
know?
that fixed my childhood trauma right there. So
Yeah. I fired my therapist that day.
Here we
You know,
are.
I'm all better now.
Here we are. All right, question number 3. Where are you getting most of your Sapphic content these days? A. Music, B. Movies, C. TV, or D. Books?
You know, I'm going to say for me, it's probably a tie between music and books. I have actually been reading, I went through like a real rough phase when the girls were little where I think I read like a book one year or something, you
Mhm.
know? I've been getting really back into reading, and I'll be honest, like we didn't even get into it, and maybe we should just do like another episode where we do a deep dive into like all the Sapphic lit that's out right now. Because I actually feel like there's a huge heyday of just books in a general sense. Like queer authors are kind of also really having a moment. So if that's your thing, like just don't worry. I think we're gonna like earmark an episode to talk about that too, because I would love to. And I've been super into the music, but I've actually also been really into the books lately. I've been reading a lot of
Nice.
good stuff. So question 4, Ellie, what is your favorite music festival out of A, Coachella, B, that's South by Southwest, right?
yeah.
Okay. Can you tell I go to music festivals?
Yeah, you're so...
B, South by Southwest. C, Bottle Rock. Or D, All Things Go.
Okay, here's the thing. I have not been to any of these music festivals. My actual favorite music festival is Bonnaroo because I've been twice and it's the shit. However,
you let me make the list and therefore that's not on here.
I would die to go to All Things Go. So on that list, it's got to be All Things Go.
There you go.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to take that weekend off next year in advance because I'm going. All right. Pick a Chappell Roan song, Leigh. A, Pink Pony Club. B, Hot to Go. C, Good Luck Babe. Or D, Red Wine Supernova.
This feels like an impossible
It is a very
ask.
difficult task.
I mean, listen, my heart lies with Pink Pony Club. My brain goes with Good Luck Babe. My desire to dance, I think Hot to Go is great. If you're feeling a little horny, Red Wine Supernova. I don't know. They're all good. They all serve a purpose, okay?
They really do.
No, I mean, I have to go with like Pink Pony Club was like my first true Chappell Roan love, and the girls still adore that song. And I do really love watching my kids like sing some of her stuff because it's just fun and they get so into it and they love it so much. I love that like Eloise's only association for Hollywood is the Pink Pony Club. Like movie industry
she's like, I want to go.
exist
Yeah, she's like, I want to go to the Pink Pony Club in Hollywood.
Yeah. One of my favorite
her
stories
mama proudly.
is one of my favorite stories is like we were doing a puzzle and the puzzle had the Hollywood sign in it and she saw the Hollywood sign and she was like, Hollywood, yes, where the Pink Pony Club is. And I was like, I unironically adore that like you have never heard of the movie industry, but you know the Pink Pony Club is in Hollywood. And
That's
I was like,
so funny.
Love that for you. So I have to go with Pink Pony Club. What would you pick though? It's an impossible question.
It is a really difficult question. I think to sing, I also really love Pink Pony Club. It's so satisfying. So I think it also is Pink Pony Club for me, but Red Wine Supernova also has a nice place in my heart because it's the first Chappell Roan song that we covered for the Femmes.
Yeah. There's no wrong answer, I think. I'm just waiting for someone to like come after us and be like, it's feminine phenomenon. And I'll be like, okay, listen.
Oh my God.
We only have 4 options, okay? They're all good.
Super graphic, ultra modern girl.
Yeah.
There's a million. There's a million. Remember, you can give us your own answers to this episode's Q&A questions on our Twitter at Let's Hang Out Pod.
Let me hear you say hip, 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 well, yeah.
We love hearing from all of you. We love continuing to build this community. So we just want to shout out some of our favorite things every episode. And we want to start by shouting out Katya, who DM'd us on Instagram after we released one of our Patreon Lestricurriculars episodes on The Kids Are All Right last week. People had some feelings, as should only be expected. And Katya's feelings specifically were to point out that this is a movie written by a straight, all caps, cis man. And you are
correct.
100% correct, Katya. That is one, not the only, but one of the many problems with The Kids Are All Right.
But I do think that episode is a pretty good nuanced discussion about the film. So if you want to check it out, shameless plug, bit.ly/lespatreon, or also just you can listen to it for free on our feed. But if you want to hear,
but it's a little peek at what you get in those Patreon episodes.
Oh yeah. Also want to shout out Manazvi. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly, but that's their handle on Instagram, who said, hi, I started listening to the pod during the pandemic, and I keep imagining Alex Voss's face behind Ellie's voice even now. So you know what? I'm going to, whenever I look at myself in the mirror, that's what I'm going to see from now on. I am Laura Brabon.
You could get, they make those like hyper realistic silicone masks now. Mm-hmm. You could just do it.
I will become Alex Voss.
Do it.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Go big or go home, Ellie.
Yes. Honestly, great choice for who I am in your head. So keep it, just leave it like that. You don't need to know what I look like.
As always, we want to thank our lesbian Jesus patrons, Mark Foster,
Lizette Stye,
Adi Benitez,
Sophia Phillips,
and Armani Gucci.
And our King Princess patrons, Amy and Ellen.
And Andrea Doucette. Thank you all so much to you and all of our Patreon supporters. We could not keep making this podcast without you.
Remember, you can also find us on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at Let's Hang Out Pod.
You can email us at letshangoutpod@gmail.com.
You can check out our website at letshangoutpod.com.
Whatever app you use to listen to podcasts, make sure that you subscribe. That way you'll be the first to know when new episodes go up every week.
We're also posting videos on our YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe at youtube.com/letshangoutpod to catch them.
Let's Hang Out is an independently produced show. It's hosted by us. Our audio production is done by Ellie. Our production assistant is Krista Mearson, and various other podcasting shenanigans are done by me.
If you want to support the podcast, the easiest way to do that is to rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast. It helps other people find the show and know that maybe it's a thing that they want to listen to.
If you want to support us on Patreon, you can join us at any tier. You'll get access to all of our bonus Patreon extracurricular episodes. Those of you who are on our Patreon know we announced we're going to be spacing those out a little bit more to make our recording schedule a little less hectic on Ellie and I, but they will still be coming out, and you do have access to all 22 of the episodes that we've recorded so far. You also get access to our Discord chats and other events that we plan with our patrons. You can join at bit.ly/lespatreon, and it is currently better to be joining through the Patreon website than through their app.
If you want to get some Let's Hang Out merch, we do have a new merch store, and that is at bit.ly/lesmerch. We made a new one through our own website. We have all kinds of different options, including fanny packs, which I have our Pride fanny pack, and that thing is the shit. I used it at Lollapalooza. I love a good fanny pack. We got hats, all kinds of different merch that we didn't have before through TeePublic. We now have available on our website. So if you want to get some Let's Hang Out merch, you can get that at bit.ly/lesmerch.
Remember, we also have a queer production company making queer podcast musicals with guaranteed happy endings. You can find us everywhere at $Bean Prod.
Or at our website, dollarbeanproductions.com.
And you can listen to all the episodes of both of our shows. The Flame and Journey to the Heart are out now in any app you listen to podcasts.
If you want to help support us in making more musicals, you can join our Patreon at bit.ly/$Patreon.
If you want to follow us individually, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LSH Foster.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Ellie Brigida. With that, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Leigh. And let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.